Here's another one of my ongoing projects. A couple months ago, someone gave me a DEC Professional 350 on loan. So I've been trying to get this thing to run, and it's been a very interesting case. Now, the front of this thing looks quite familiar. If you've seen my noisy ST506 video I made, God, it was almost 5 years ago, 4 years ago now. Anyways, this looks exactly like the Rainbow 100, but this is a little bit bigger. It does still use that ridiculous RX50 floppy drive, and I do have a disc for it now, actually. Just double-sided quad density, nothing really all that special about it. It does have that mark in there, so you can see it lines up relative with that red mark on there. But yeah, anyways, the drive, VR201 monitor, LK201 keyboard, and where the Rainbow 100 was a Z80 or an Intel machine, this is actually, I guess you would call it a PDP-11, because it does have the proper, similar to an LSI-11 chipset in here. It runs some programs that ran on the PDP-11, but DEC decided to go a different approach with, I think it was vectors or interrupts or something about that was different. They didn't want these machines undermining their PDP market. So these came out, they were expensive, they had no software that would work for them. Even though they were PDP-11s, technically, none of the PDP software ran them. The menuing system was just weird, and they didn't sell these all too well. And yeah, so that's, I guess, where this one eventually ended up being taken out of use, probably rather recently. But it came out with, this system came with a couple other cool options. I do have the color monitor with it and cabling. This needs a recap. It doesn't want to do anything once the high voltage kicks in. And I also received the vertical standing enclosure for it. The machine just slides into the back of it, and you have all access to the front of it here. And it actually, this opening here matches up with the gray bezel here, so it's almost nice and perfectly flush. Back to the machine here. Let's go take a look at this. VR201, nothing special here. Keyboard plugs into it. One cable. No power cable for it. We have over here 4 diagnostic lamps, a DCOK light. This changes in the last revision, I believe, because it uses the JAWS 11 chipset. Still PDP-11, but still completely incompatible. Our video connection, this is monochrome and regular RGB. We have a printer port, which is a 9-pin port. This is actually a serial port, and if you do short the jumper pin, I believe it's pin 9 or pin 7. I gotta double check that the data sheet on it, but this will drop you to a regular PDP ODT prompt. So you can do diagnostic work, and I'll get to that in a couple minutes. And then we have a regular serial port here, some sort of blanking plate, and then we have networking over here. And this is another option as well. And inside here, you can't see it, there's a battery, and I had to change that out. And amazingly, you can get some, it was 3 rechargeable nickel metal hydrates or something like that. But those changed out. I couldn't get exact capacity. I could get double the capacity, which is no big problem. And so that's installed in here as well. And yeah, okay. Let's power it up, because now I'll show you why I say this is a work in progress. And I can see the battery's about to die on my camera. There we go. Whoop. It'll take a moment here to come up. Oh god, it's actually trying to read from the floppy drive. What the hell? Okay, well, huh. Ignoring that beautiful reflection. There we go. Got a nice little graphical representation of my machine. And oh, huh. Okay. Ignore that slot that's just suddenly lit up there. It's probably a bad connection, but it's giving me error code 000020 and 000023. That is CT100 speaker control and date and time. The speaker control I don't understand, because there is no speaker in this machine. There's a beeper in the keyboard, and that's it. And it's a very simple circuit. As for date and time, I'd understand a little bit more if I could figure out how to set the date and time. I can push whatever key I want on the keyboard right now, and I can't go to any sort of setup prompt or anything like that to make me set the date and time. The only way I can think of is the ODT, which requires me to make a little special adapter so I can drop down to that and use it from an external terminal. But yes, this is a work in progress. It's an interesting machine. I didn't actually also mention that on the back here we do have an asset tag from Evans and Sutherland. Okay, cool. Now, if you don't know who Evans and Sutherland is, take a good Google on them, and they're actually quite prominent in the early graphics world. But yeah, I wonder what the hell they were doing with this. I really want to see what's on that drive, assuming it's not been formatted or something like that. Yeah, we'll find out. It's a work in progress.